Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news making headlines today. U.S. President Donald Trump announced a sudden shift in military plans against Tehran on Monday, saying that talks between the U.S. and Iran have seen progress. While Iran denied that discussions had taken place, President Trump ordered a 5-day postponement of threatened attacks targeting Iranian energy infrastructure. Trump had given Iran 48 hours to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face attacks on its power plants, but has shifted his stance as that deadline approaches. Tehran, however, remains firm that Trump's claims are fake news, with officials accusing Washington of fabricating the talks to buy time. The Iranian military also dismissed Western intelligence reports about the deployment of explosives in regional waterways and reaffirmed its control of the Strait of Hormuz. President Lee Jae-myung has called on his officials to establish an emergency response system to deal with the fallout from the war in the Middle East. During Tuesday's cabinet meeting, he said that the government will update the fuel price cap rule and announce it later this week. The president also vowed to strongly punish any attempts of price collusion, adding that the prosecution has launched investigations into oil refiners. Lee also urged for a reduction in private vehicle use on workdays and said that public institutions will adopt a system limiting use based on the last digit of license plate numbers. Stocks rose and oil prices plunged after U.S. President Donald Trump said further strikes on Iran's energy infrastructure would be postponed pending negotiations. The Dow Jones Industrial Average on Monday climbed 631 points or 1.38%. While the S&P 500 gained 1.15% and the Nasdaq rose 1.38%. The rebound helped halt the recent market slide, with the Nasdaq having closed near correction territory Friday. In energy markets, Brent crude fell nearly 11% to settle at $99.94 per barrel, its first close below $100 since March 11. U.S. crude dropped more than 10% to $88.13 per barrel after prices had hit their highest levels since July 2022 on Friday. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has formally labeled South Korea the most hostile state and warned of merciless consequences if Pyongyang is provoked. According to the Korean Central News Agency on Tuesday, Kim made the remarks on the final day of the first session of the Supreme People's Assembly, declaring that Seoul has now been officially designated as North Korea's principal adversary. He warned that South Korea would pay the price for any provocation and reaffirmed that North Korea's status as a nuclear weapons state will never change, vowing continued efforts to confront what he described as hostile forces. Historical drama The King's Warden has topped Korea's all-time box office revenue. As of Monday, the movie had made a total of 142.5 billion won or $94.6 million. The film attracted over 800,000 moviegoers nationwide over the weekend, holding on to the #1 spot for 7 consecutive weeks and bringing its total admissions to 14.75 million viewers. It now ranks third on Korea's box office chart behind The Emerald Roaring Currents and Extreme Job. The King's Warden is the first 10 million viewer hit for director Jang Hang-jun. It tells the story of the exile of the young King Danjong during the Joseon dynasty. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.